Do you ever look at a zombie and think, you need a buzzsaw to the face, but an orbital strike will also work? Me neither, but today we're going to be making a game about it in 1 week. So this is all inspired by the game Build Traps to Survive.
Not the big games one.
So yeah, this is the one. And if it doesn't look like a Build Traps game, it's because it got hacked. So now I can't be sued for copying them, but I'm still going to invent pretty much everything.
Day one.
Okay, so first of all, I made some traps that the enemies can walk on, obviously, and some effects. With a lot of previous modules I used and some new ones. Then I got some enemies that can eternally suffer the pain of the player's traps. Now, the player needs to be able to buy traps. So I made 2 NPCs, one for buying and one for selling. But later on I changed the selling one to upgrading because selling the bodies is pretty hard to do, considering it's now wave based. So I made some UI for this and then also made the currency system, so you need to kill zombies to buy traps because, well, how else are they gonna die? Next, the shop needed some variety, because currently you could only buy barbed wire and that's kind of boring. So I added a ton more traps and I'll add more soon, but for now, here's what I made. The wire, which deals damage every tick an enemy touches it, a total durability of 300 and 5 damage per tick. The mine, which blows up when an enemy touches it and deals 500 damage, but it is single use, so once it detonates, it's gone. The buzzsaw, which is just a better version of the wire, and it has 2500 durability and deals 50 damage every tick. The orbital strike, which is the same as the mine, apart from it does
5,000 damage.
The deflector, which makes all the traps in its range take 40% less damage. Now in my opinion, this is a very good support trap. And finally, the Tesla, which is easily my favourite trap, but it is late game, so let me explain. One Tesla coil on its own does nothing. But once you place a second one, the coils will link and create a beam that has infinite durability. It deals 5 damage every tick, and even better, the lasers will keep on expanding as you place down more coils. So your map can eventually look like this. Okay, so that's day 1 done.
Sleepy time. Day 2.
On day 2, I get to work on making the map have less of a I wanna die because this map is so bad vibe. And guess what?
The vibe did not change.
Anyway, next I decided I'm too lazy to make a balanced wave structure because, well, I tried that a couple years ago and let's just say it was
Very unfair.
So I plugged all the enemy stats into my worst enemy. I don't understand why Roblox devs call AI their best friend. But anyway, I plugged these stats into ChatGPT and it generated a wave system, which I trust is balanced because I'm not going to test this.
Wait, what is a phantom?
So my next very original idea was to add different enemy types, which had different buffs and unique perks. So let me introduce the normal, the speedy, it's just the normal but with a bit more health. The slow, it's just slow with a lot more health. The leech, this guy heals enemies near it and stacks a lot. So you might need a mine for this guy.
An orbital strike works too.
The Inferno. Traps on this zombie's fire trail will take a lot of damage, so probably kill these guys with mines, otherwise they are gonna wreck your durability. The Swarm. It's very weak, but they're spawned in groups of like 20 and are small enough to go under the Tesla coil. So you're gonna have to sacrifice durability for this guy. The Phantom. This guy has a 40% chance to dodge incoming damage, so mines aren't a good idea against them. The Beamer. I don't really know what to call this guy, but he shoots a laser from his minion goggle that deals damage to the player. The Tank. Pretty much just a boss with a ton of health. The Corrupt. The Temu version of the tank. So now that's all done, I think it's time to add some bosses, because right now the game doesn't have an end and I want to make a couple different bosses, so we're going to have different difficulty modes. For the bosses, I also made it on boss waves. There'll be an infinite timer, so you have to kill the boss before moving on to the next wave. For the easy mode boss, I added the Hollow, which has an ability to summon a line of spikes in front of it. and also the songs you hear in the background are the enemy theme songs. For intermediate mode, the boss is called the Wretched, and is like the Hollow, but summons spikes in a star shape, so all around. For difficult, instead of an ability, the Cataclysm infinitely passively summons threats, such as a corrupt ball and laser, which when detonated will deal damage if you're near it. And finally, for the Apocalypse game mode, the Epoch, I'll add an ability to this guy later, but currently he just keeps spawning all of the most diabolical enemies, such as mini-bosses, spitters and speedies, until he dies. And currently it's way too laggy, so I might fix that soon. And I also added the ice trap, which just freezes enemies that walk on it temporarily. And then I made the end screens. I'll talk about the rewards you get later. So winning, you get this cool song. And losing, you just, well, lose. Also, I really like how these turned out. The animations and sounds are really nice.
Day 3.
So I needed something else a player could spend their coins on, and that's where the red stall comes in. I decided to add upgrades. Leather boots, you become immune to barbed wire. Reinforced boots, you become immune to buzzsaws. Insulating armor, you become immune to Tesla coils. Vitality, you just get some general buffs to health and speed. Reflective armor, you reflect 80% of the damage dealt by the beamers. And for the general armor, it is by far the most powerful, just reducing all your damage. And better yet, it stacks with other upgrades.
Day 4.
So for the lobby, I took the map and changed the base plate into grass, added a lagoon, I made the middle into a spawn area, I added some runes, and then some paths connected to the other points of interests, and then a plaza, that's where the upgrades will be made, a tutorial area, which I'll make later, a little VIP stand, and then added teleporters to teleport groups of players into these matches. No, I'm not going to make matchmaking global. And then a ton of decoration. Oh, and then for the lore, I also made one of these pillars glowing. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this lobby turned out, because it's pretty much like the first good map I've ever made. Because normally I just script.
Day 5.
So for the UI, I copied over most of it from the original game and recolored the coins to be research. And then decided to artistically take inspiration from
Grow a garden.
and make teleport buttons, because clearly Jandal's doing something right. And then I got carried away and started making the spawn as cool as I could
I'm not a spawnist, I swear.
by making the points slowly spin. And when they spawn someone, the power kind of like surges and it spins a lot faster and does some cool glowy thing. And then it returns to normal. So I added a big floaty crystal in the middle, and that's just pretty much how I made the map. So for the plaza, one store is the tech tree, and one is a mod store, and one is a Robux store. For the tech store, you can spend research to upgrade your walk speed, health, or just to invest it into a multiplier to forever increase the amount of research you get per game for doing anything. In the Robux store, you can buy VIP, which gives you free revives every match. I also added a 2x stacking research multiplier. I'll add more soon if I update the game. Okay, so for mods, I haven't actually added them yet because, well, I only have 7 days and I need to finish this year. But I have a good idea for the system where you can trigger things to happen when something else happens. It's hard to explain, but basically here's an example. If you have an explosive mod on your barbed wire, then you can choose when to trigger an explosion. For example, once the barbed wire runs out of durability, it will blow up. Okay, so now for the part I've dreaded the most.
The tutorial.
I hate it because it's literally a single time thing and it's so long to code, but it's also so necessary because kids can't understand
Anything.
without Subway Surfers and text on the screen telling them
Exactly what to do.
boom, and done. That was not very quick, but I kind of rushed it. Anyway, I think this game is pretty much done now, so that means onto the designing. I started by making some renders in Blender and importing them into Photopea in multiple layers. I edited them, added some stuff like a sky and studs and a landmine, and I think it seems a bit low quality, but it certainly fits the building style of the game. Then I adapted it for the thumbnail and made the same thing, but I changed up the trap to be the ice trap, and if you're wondering why,
It just looks interesting. That's literally it.
and now the game is complete. Thanks for watching. I'm not very good at video editing, so I hope this video was bearable. Once I'm monetized, I'll be hiring an editor to have better videos.